A very good morning to all my listeners. Taking your topics further in the chapter Gandhian era, we had earlier discussed, just to bring you close to the topic, non-cooperation movement we have done in detail, and we have discussed that how there was decline of the movement and how Gandhiji called off the movement just because of the Chauri Chaura incident. So, linking with that topic, I am linking that with it, the split among the Gandhiji's followers, that is two parts, Swarajist and the radicals. Radicals were rightly called no changers. I have given you this topic, but today we are going to discuss it in detail because it's a long answer. So, C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru, Swarajist, rightly called the Swarajists. So, the question is, who were Swarajists and what was their constructive program? Swarajist, led by a generation of C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru. They were just those people that I told you before the non-cooperation movement, there was a tussle in the Congress, and these were those people who wanted that they should participate in the election because this is the only way to sit with the Britishers in the parliaments and legislatures and make them realize that which acts we are opposing and which acts we are not opposing. But as you know that in the Nagpur session of Congress, ultimately there was a compromise between Gandhiji and this group, and they began to participate in the non-cooperation movement. So immediately when Gandhiji called off the movement, I told you nobody was happy. Everybody wanted that the movement should continue because it was a face-to-face war now, but it was called off. C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru again raised the issue that we will participate in the election that were declared next provincial election. Previously it was Imperial Legislative Council elections. Now it was provincial election, provincial legislative elections, 1922. So their view was, their thinking was that now we will participate in the elections, and they were firm, they were very confident that we will win the seats, and then by sitting in the within the councils we will break the functioning of the government from within. Means we will win the seats, they were confident, we will sit in the legislatures, and then we will not let Britishers work, we will argue for reforms, and if they deny, if they do not listen to us like they did in Rowlatt Act, then outside we will reveal. Reveal means we will show to the people that these legislative councils are not truly democratic and they are not truly representative. So this is rightly called the constructive program of the Swarajists. And do you know, students, that in the next elections they participated, their candidates contested election on 11 seats and they won 9. And this was a very good uh, step taken by the Swarajist and very constructive step taken by the Swarajist, and it was again a big turning point in the national movement of India. Correct, students? Then the second group was the group of radicals, about which I told you they were no changers, means they were also against the calling of the movement by Gandhiji, but they still decided to support Gandhiji because they considered that if we also leave Gandhiji's leadership, he would be ridiculed publicly. So still decided to support him. And what was their program? As I told you, the program of the Swarajists, the program of the radicals was that we must prepare people, our followers, for another mass movement. Mass movement means where many people are involved, like non-cooperation movement. So another mass movement. Because remember, I previously told you that during the non-cooperation movement also, Gandhiji told his followers that in case Britishers use repression like they did in Chauri Chaura, if Britishers use repression, then we will start a civil disobedience. So they were in favor of another mass struggle, another mass movement. Hope you understand it. Then next topic for today will be developments further. Between the period 1920s and 30s, what were the developments? You know what could be the developments? First World War was over, and the First World War left deep scars, negative scars on the countries, and India was not untouched by it. Even in India also, there were scars, there were signs of crisis, there were signs of uh, chaos, there were signs of disturbances, panic, poverty. People were unable to pay revenues. In such a situation, there was economic crisis, there was no money, and you know what Britishers did? They were forcing the people of India to pay revenue. And in the rural areas and urban areas, many people who had kept something for their children in future, some silver, some gold jewelry, they gave it. Because money was not there. Because I told you during the First World War, their crop failed. Commercial farmers, they were in turmoil. They had no money because their crops were not purchased by the countries. Countries had no money. First World War was very costly, and the countries had spent lots of money to win the war. Costly weapons were made. So it was a period of economic dissatisfaction, economic crisis, and in this situation, there particularly the countryside, particularly the rural areas were in turmoil, and people could not, they were not able to pay revenue. And Britishers, because it was an alien government, it was colonial government, they were asking the people to pay revenue again and again. In such a situation of crisis, where people were very, very disturbed, there was no work, there was no money, Britishers, what they did, they took away gold and other costly materials from India. And historians say that after the First World War, after the war years, what recovered the Britishers was Indian gold. Understand? So this was drain of wealth, drain of everything from India. So these were developments further, and the countryside was in turmoil. In such a situation, there were elections in Britain. In England, there were elections, and Tory government came to the power. Tory government came to the power. It was a party. Tory government came to the power. And in this situation, they decided to send Simon Commission to India under the leadership of Sir John Simon, about which you have read in your previous classes also. Sir John Simon, you have read in class 10th also. Under the leadership of Sir John Simon, to see the working of the Act of 1919, and give suggestions. Let me tell you that the British Parliament used to pass acts time to time, like they passed an act in 1909 called Morley-Minto Reforms. In 1919, they passed an act which is known as Montagu-Chelmsford. Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. And actually they were not reforms. What they did, what Britishers used to do, they in every act they used to do something good, something a bit good, so that the Indians are relaxed. Then they used to do something which is against the Indians, and then the final result was to divide the Indians. You can call this policy repression. Very important point, you can note down in your notes copy. Repression, reform, and finally division. This, the policy the Britishers continued in India. Repression, reform, division. Act of 1909 and Act of 1919. Very good example of repression, reform and division. Now we are discussing about 1919, so we will focus on it. In the Act of 1919, some members in the British legislatures, Indian members were raised. Very nominal. Indians were happy, okay, our number is raised. But at the same time, separate electorate was given to all the communities living in India. Let me tell you, separate electorate by now was given to the Muslim, because Muslim League, I told you, in 1906, Aga Khan formed Muslim League, and Muslims were enjoying communal electorate. Communal electorate. In the Act of 1919, they continued it further. Many communities lived in India, and they gave separate electorate to everyone. And that means further division of the country. And students, like we have a list system today, according to list, there are jurisdiction, the subjects have been given to central government, state government and local bodies. They didn't do it. Instead, they did a diarchy in the Act of 1919, a matter of concern for the Indians. Because I told you they participated in the election. So they introduced a diarchy. Diarchy means dual system of government. dual system of government, in which they divided the administrative subjects according to their own convenience, according to their own selfish motives. All the important subjects like finance, foreign affairs, defense, it was kept by the Britishers within themselves, that we will make policies on it. Understand? And all the other remaining subjects like sanitation, law and order, etc., it was given to the provinces. So Indians had rejected this act of 1919. They didn't accept it. So Tory government, again come to the point, this you have to do all this very detailed 1919 act. Montagu Chelmsford reforms, noted down. So Tory government came to the power, and immediately they sent Simon Commission to India to see the working of the Act of 1919 that Indians had already rejected. I told you why they rejected, and give suggestions. Correct? So as Indians came to know that a commission is coming to India, Simon Commission, they also came to know that it is headed by a Britishman, okay, Sir John Simon, and the commission is headed by 5 Englishmen. No Indian member was included in the commission. There was no Indian member. So there was a stand by the Indians that the commission which is coming to read, to study the working in India, why not any Indian is included in it? If there is an Indian in the commission, the Indian would be knowing that what Indians want, what is their demand. So when all the Britishers are there in the commission, how they would be able to know that what are our demands? So that was a very good point. And as soon as they didn't even submit their report, they met with stone throwing. They met with slogan, Simon go back. People threw stones on them. Stone throwing was there, and people showed them black flags. Black flags, showing black flags means we are unhappy on your arrival. We are not happy to see you. So like this, Simon Commission was welcomed or not welcomed in India. In British police, as usual, they used to lathi charge, they used to attack on the Indians when agitation was going on. A very good feature of the Simon Commission was, students, a very special feature of the Simon Commission agitation was that both the Congress, that was a Hindu majority organization, and the Muslim League, they both were there in the agitation in 1927-28 year, 1927 and 28. They both were together, and they both combinedly opposed the Simon Commission. Okay, British police lathi charge, and you know that in this lathi charge, Lala Lajpat Roy died of lathi blows. He was a very old and a very important leader of Congress. People respected him a lot, and Sardar Vallabhbhai Pant became crippled throughout his life. Okay, so this incident again was a turning point in the freedom struggle of India. Indians were unhappy on this incident that they lost their leader. Lala Lajpat Roy was lost, and the further program were to be decided by the Congress, and Britishers knew. I told you, repression, reform, division. Keep these points in your mind. Repression ho gaya, now repression, now reform. Reform in the form by, they sent Lord Irwin, their senior official, British official, to India, because a lot of repression was there, and I told you people were unhappy on the death of Lala Lajpat Roy, who was a very important leader of the Congress. So Irwin came to India immediately, and he wanted to reconcile Indians. He wanted to have a communication with them and promised them that Britishers are going to hold round table conferences in London, to decide the further and the future constitution for India. It was a promise done by Irwin to the Congress. And secondly, that in future, not now, we are going to discuss the dominion status to Indians. Note down these 2 points. Dominion status to Indians in the near future. We are not giving now, but in future we are discussing, we are thinking to give dominion status to the Indians, and we are going to hold round table, convene for conferences and meeting, we use the word convene, and for the movement, we use the word launching of the movement. So we will convene the round table conferences in London to decide and to discuss the future constitution for India. And in near future, we are going to give you dominion status. And do you know what was the attitude of Indians towards these promises? The attitude was that they did it before the first World War. If you remember that after the war we will give you Swaraj. Again they are making a fake promise. So Indians called it a vague, vague, vague offer. Jhuta, false, vague offer. By now Indians had become quite aware that Britishers are, they will never show that and they will never give Swaraj to them until and unless they are forced to do this. So they Indians called it that it's a vague offer and we do not accept it. Correct? And immediately in 1929 there was Lahore session of Congress. There was Lahore session of Congress. Again your map work. In the Lahore session of Congress, the slogan of complete independence or Poon Swaraj was adopted by the Indians. Correct? Tomorrow we will discuss that what happened after this session and how there was another mass struggle in India led by Gandhi, and we will further discuss that what the attitude of the Britishers went on and what happened to the round table conferences in London. Thank you students and have a very nice day. ठीक है बेटा, हो गया है. आपने कहा था ना एकदम बराबर में आ जाना. मैं